In this video, we're going to learn how to write an equation of a straight line from a graph. You need to remember the general form of the equation, which is y equals mx plus c, and you need to know that for us to be able to do that, you need to find the gradient of a line and the y-intercept. So on the screen right now, you can see two different graphs, and I would like you to have a look whether you can actually work out what the equation of those lines are. If you can't do it, don't worry, we're going to learn how to do this in this video. First of all, you need to remember how to find the gradient. The gradient describes the steepness of the line, and to work out the gradient we need to divide change in y by the change in x. So for my line, the change in y is 5 and the change in x is also 5. So when I divide 5 by 5, I get 1. So that means the gradient of this particular line is 1. In this example, again, I need to work out what the change in y is, and that is 3. The change in x is 1, so the gradient is 3. Now notice this line is steeper than the previous one, so the gradient is higher. In this example, the line is now going down, so you need to expect a negative gradient. So as you can see, the change in y is -4 and the change in x is 1, so the gradient is -4. And that's the rule that you need to remember, that whenever the line is going down, that means the gradient is negative. Now I would like you to look at this example, and I need you to be aware of the fact that it doesn't really matter how big your triangle is. So for example, I've got 3 different sizes here, okay, and the gradient that I'll be getting using the 3 triangles will be the same in every single case, because the gradient of the line does not change. So if I look at the biggest triangle, so the change in y is 10 and the change in x is 5, then the gradient will be 2. If I look at the smallest triangle, the change in y is 2, the change in x is 1, again the gradient equals 2. And for the middle triangle, again the change in y is 4, change in x is 2, so the gradient is 2. So as you can see, it doesn't really matter how big your triangle is, okay, you will be getting the same gradient for all of them. Now, I would like you to maybe pause the video and try to work out the gradient of these lines, and when you're ready, press play to check if you got the right answers. These are the answers that you should get. Hope you got all of them right. Remember that whenever a line goes down, the gradient needs to be negative. Also, make sure that when you draw your triangles, you find the points which are at the corner, so it's easy to count how many squares or how many units you go up or down and then across. So as I said before, the equation of a line is y equals mx plus c. So we already know how to work out the gradient. Now we need to know how to find the y-intercept, okay? So m is the gradient and c is the y-intercept, which is the point where the line crosses the y-axis. So that should be quite easy. You just read it from the graph. So in my case here, the y-intercept is +2. So now I would like you to pause the video and see if you can work out the y-intercept for all of those lines, and when you're ready, press play to see if you got the right answers. So these are the answers. Now I've put the signs in front of each number as well, so it's easy for you to then put it back into the equation, so that you know that the y-intercept can be a positive or a negative number. Now we're going to use the 2 skills to find the equation of a straight line. So first I need to find the gradient of the line that you can see on the graph, and I can see that the change in y is 2, the change in x is 1, so the gradient is 2. Now I just need to read where the line crosses the y-axis, and that is positive 1. So now I can put it together and I get the equation of the line, which is y equals 2x plus 1. The gradient is 2, so I get 2x, and the line crosses the y-axis at positive 1, so I add 1. And the next example, I need to do the same thing. So first I need to find the gradient. The change in y is 3, the change in x is 1, so the gradient is 3. And the line crosses the y-axis at positive 2, so that is the y-intercept. I put it all together and I get the equation, which is y equals 3x plus 2. In this question, just be a little bit more careful when you work out the gradient. The change in y is 1, the change in x is 2. Now it's very easy to make a mistake here, but you need to remember that you're actually dividing 1 by 2. That means that the gradient is half, and the y-intercept is positive 3. So the whole equation is y equals half x plus 3. And in the last example, the gradient will be negative because the line is going down. So the change in y is negative 2, the change in x is 1, so the gradient is minus 2, and the y-intercept is positive 1. So together that will give us an equation of y equals minus 2x plus 1.